Hello, I'm Monty Church, and welcome to my camp. I appreciate you joining me here today because this spot is a very special spot to my family and me. You see, we only live a few miles just over the hill here. And so what I could say is, welcome to our home. We live about 25 miles east of Portland, Oregon, in a little community called Boring, Oregon. Yep, that's really the name of the place, all right. It got its name from a pioneer family who first settled this area. Framed by this beautiful mountain range, crowned by Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Baker, and bathed by the Columbia River. Here, I am surrounded by the splendor of God's creation and enveloped by wildlife and the beauty of nature. My family and I have truly learned to love this area of the country. This is our place. We have about an acre of land here, enough to keep us busy outdoors. Now this is my shop out and back, where I enjoy making sawdust with my woodworking hobbies. That's when I'm not in the office or out on the road. I also enjoy welding and doing other metal crafts. But the biggest thing that makes my place home is my family. Like most of us, without a family, the places we live and the things we possess would be meaningless to us. Meet my better half. This is Leanne. She's a hard-working, loyal wife. She's the glue of our home. She faithfully holds everything together since I'm gone a lot of the time. Without her, I just couldn't do the ministry God has called me to do. She enjoys her horses, who she named Hershey, because he's the color of chocolate, and Bailey, because he was a free, throwaway horse when she found him, and she bailed him out, giving him a home and training. Both have turned out to be fine carriage dressage competition horses because of all the work that she's put into them. This is her hobby, her outlet, which I try to be supportive of. Now we have 4 children. Our 2 oldest boys, Chris and Chad, are grown now and they have their own families. Each one of them has a girl and a boy, which we are proud grandparents of. Yep, it is fun being a grandpa. You're always a hero to your grandchildren, and when they need to be cleaned up or get hard to deal with, you can just turn them back over to the parents. No, seriously, we adore our grandchildren. They just mean the world to us. Our youngest son, Craig, is in college and will be graduating this next year. He has become my golf buddy and works hard, trying always to beat me. I tell him, keep on dreaming. But you know, my days are numbered until he leaves me in the dust. Then there's our youngest, Daddy's girl, Sherry. She loves horses too. This is Keiko, her pride and joy, her baby. Sherry was just elected as our county fair and rodeo princess and tours in several parades and rodeos around the state of Oregon. She has learned a lot by working with horses and has grown up to be a fine young woman. I'm really proud of what she and my wife have accomplished through the years with their horse activities. I feel so blessed with the family that God has given me. My wife and my children are my greatest joy. While our marriage isn't perfect, because none of us are perfect, working through the difficulties of life together is easier when you have a good-willed partner. Your spouse's love and support will help you with the ups and downs you will surely face on the trail of life. Everyone longs to have a happy marriage. Unfortunately, more than half of the marriages today end in divorce. Every day, thousands of counselors and marriage experts work around the clock trying to keep troubled marriages together. It's a problem that many couples face every day. So many people escape into marriage today, thinking it'll be a harbor of safety from the storms of life, only to discover a storm in the harbor. But I want to tell you something. It doesn't have to be this way. The Book of Heaven tells us that God created marriage, and He calls this union honorable. Our Creator has given a better plan for couples than just living together. It is the commitment of marriage. This is His gift to us. He intends to use the bonds of marriage to bring the deepest expression of happiness and joy into our lives. That's why God compares His love for His people to the love of a married man when He said, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her." Every marriage has its ups and downs. Yet few realize that the Creator of marriage has supplied us with a marriage manual with profound and helpful principles and how to deal with almost every problem that plagues marriages today. Perhaps the most important thing you can do to keep a happy marriage is simply be willing to learn. Marriage is a school from which you never graduate. Why? Because as we mature and change, there are always new things we must learn about each other. To maintain a happy marriage, we should continually study to discover how to be a good marriage partner. Spouses teach each other so much. Nobody knows me better than my wife. I'm so glad she's good-willed. Though she sees my flat sides, she's still patient and forgiving, and our mutual respect for each other only becomes stronger as we continue learning. We don't claim to have it all together, but we know the one who does. And as we surrender our lives and our home to the care of the Great Spirit, we become better people because of this gift of marriage. The Book of Heaven says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain." Now, what's the best advice I could give regarding a happy marriage in the short time we have together today? There is so much to know and so much to learn about this important topic. But let me share what I have discovered from my own personal experience. The Book of Heaven brings out some basic principles that, if studied and practiced, will guarantee that you will have a successful marriage. The Lord gives us husbands a command, meaning it's something that we should work at because it's something that doesn't come naturally. It's something that we must continually choose to do and allow the Great Spirit to help us with. Here it is. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Men, there's nothing in this world a wife craves more than to genuinely know that she's unconditionally loved by you. She will give her all for this. A good woman would rather live in a tent with a man who truly loves her than in a castle with a man that has all the money in the world who doesn't truly care for her. I've seen this over and over again. This is the way women feel. Just ask your wife if this isn't true. Women respond to unconditional love, and we men must be the source of initiating this love. If we don't learn how to quietly and unselfishly love our wives through thick and thin, and are only worried about what we are getting out of the relationship, we are headed for big trouble. So, how can you make a woman feel truly loved? If you were to talk to all the best marriage counselors in the world and go through the Book of Heaven for help, these are some of the basic how-to-love principles you would discover. First, learn to be close to your wife. This means taking time just for her. Let her see and know that she has your undivided attention, even if it's for just a few minutes a day. Set aside a special date time each week to spend with your wife, like you did when you were first courting her. Keep romance alive. Give her flowers. Give her special gifts frequently. Tell her often how special she is to you and how much you appreciate all she does for you and the family. Happy is the man who discovers the power of love a woman feels when she knows she is special to him. Second, learn to understand your wife. This means working at listening, to truly understand the things that are important to her. She may not need your opinion, just your understanding ear. Talk with her and let her know that you do care and that you do understand. Phew, learning to just listen without trying to fix everything can be a hard job for some of us guys. Third, work at being open to your wife. This means if something is bothering you, don't be afraid to take proper time in a proper way to talk about these things to her. Don't let things build up inside you, because she'll have a tendency to think that you are upset with her and don't love her, even if the things bothering you have nothing to do with her. Every wife needs her husband to be open with his feelings. And don't forget to share your joyful feelings with her too. This will give her an opportunity to rejoice with you and to bring you closer together. This is the seed of happiness that once planted will continue to reap joy for you throughout the years. Fourth, don't be afraid to say, "I'm sorry." When you make mistakes or when you go through hard times, don't be afraid to say, "I'm sorry." Every marriage has its troubles. The Bible says, those who marry will have worldly troubles. Saying, "I'm sorry," tells her that you are together on all this and that you are willing to do your part to work together through the troubles that come your way. Sharing the sorrow with her lets her know that you care and that she is loved by her man no matter what may have happened or why it happened. The Book of Heaven says, "Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ." And it also says, "Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones." We must continually be careful what we say and how we say it. Fifth, she needs to know that you're committed. I don't need to remind you that we live in a sex-oriented world. This causes some insecurity and lack of peace for every married woman. In the Book of Heaven it says, "He who loves his wife loves himself." You would not be a traitor to yourself, just as you would not betray your wife with unfaithfulness. Wives need always to be assured of our loyalty and how much we love them. It isn't a joking matter when it comes to this business of commitment. We should always be careful to stay away from the divorce word. Talking about divorce or threatening divorce is devastating to the vulnerability and security of a wife and mother. Your wife is assured of your loyalty whenever you speak highly of her in front of others. Others notice when you make her in your marriage a priority in all your plans. She feels deep love from you when you work at letting her know your plans each day and follow through with even the smallest day-to-day commitments to her. This brings us to the last principle of what love means to your wife. Sixth and last, honor her every day in every way you can. Again, you do this by making it a point to genuinely brag on her in public when you appropriately can. Our wives need to hear from their husbands that we are genuinely proud of them and what they do. Praise her for the great mothering of your children, her faithful upkeep of the house, or hard work at a job that she does to help with the finances. She needs to frequently hear in words, every way you can say it, that you are really proud to be her husband. These are the principles that will make any wife feel like she's truly loved by her man. The next great piece of counsel from the Book of Heaven is for our ladies. It simply admonishes wives, saying, "Let the wife see that she respects her husband." The more I experience and learn about marriage, the more amazed I am of how different men and women are. Just as the greatest desire of a woman is to be loved by her husband, the greatest desire of a man is to be respected by his wife. It is a two-way street to mutually love and respect each other. The Bible commands wives to show respect to husbands they may not always think deserve respect. Wives, fit in with your husband's plans, for then if they refuse to listen when you talk to them about the Lord, they will be won by your respectful, pure behavior. Your godly lives will speak to them better than any words. Ladies, respect is every husband's deepest need. They desperately need your respect as much as you need their love. Check it out. Ask your husband if this isn't true. Now, showing respect doesn't mean that you're a doormat or a slave. It simply means showing appreciation for your husband for who he is and what he does. Showing respect in a man's mind is showing true love to him. How do you show respect to your man in a way that he will truly feel loved? Here are 6 principles that, if practiced, will guarantee one happy husband. First, learn to express appreciation. Appreciate his desire to work and achieve in order to take care of you and the family. Many wives forget to do this. When a woman expresses gratitude for the way her man provides for her and her children, it rewards the purposes of his work and efforts. Life becomes worthwhile to him. Just a word of thanks or a note of thanks from you will be treasured in his heart beyond your imagination, no matter what he may say or not say. Second, express gratitude for his desire to protect you and the kids. With the marriage ceremony, our Creator God gave man the command to be protective of his wife and family and home. There are very few men who wouldn't give up their lives if something or someone threatened their wife and children. A man feels tremendously rewarded when he knows you appreciate the protection he gives in so many ways. Third, value his desire to serve as the leader of your home. God ordained the man to be a leader or the priest of his household. It isn't that he wants to control everyone. He just wishes to know things are cared for and secure. Men are incredibly energized when a wife shows respect for this leadership, and he will work to be a better leader when respect for his desire to lead is shown. Fourth, respect his opinions and his ability to judge certain tough situations. He may not always have the answers, but in many aspects of life, he does. Respecting a husband's way of thinking will many times give families the best long-range answers. Being respected will empower him to help solve life's problems along with his spouse. The rewards of respecting a husband's opinions can come back to bless a wife in 100 ways. The Book of Heaven says, "And let the wife see that she respects her husband." Fifth, remember, a man feels loved when his wife realizes his desire for shoulder-to-shoulder friendship. A guy often longs for his wife just to be with him by his side, not necessarily to talk to him, but to bless him with her presence. Whether it's just sitting down and watching TV together, or going out to a restaurant for a snack, or working with the horses, or golfing, or boating, or just watching him in his shop for a bit when he's working on one of his hobbies. It doesn't mean that you have to be with him all the time. That would be irritating to him. But from time to time, just showing companionship in his interest. Heart of every man hopes his wife will give him companionship on a buddy-like basis. Men long for some shoulder-to-shoulder time with their women. Men feel loved and accepted and appreciated when their wives give them this kind of attention and time. You may have noticed that when you see a couple enjoying this type of relationship, you will seldom see a marriage falling apart. After all, the Book of Heaven tells us that our Creator God made the woman from Adam's side a suitable helper, completing him. Sixth, wives, appreciate your husband's need for intimacy. Men have a definite mental and physical need. Women should remember to be tender and affectionate and to lovingly care for her husband. This attention spells intimate love to a man. As a woman needs emotional fulfillment, men need physical fulfillment. Blessed is the woman who understands this. The Book of Heaven says, the man should give his wife all that is her right as a married woman, and the wife should do the same for her husband. But this principle isn't just about physical intimacy. It's about honoring him being your man by taking his arm at times when walking or holding hands, showing respectful affection. This makes men feel loved and appreciated more than you'll ever know. It makes him feel he has the deepest gift of human relationship a man can ever know. It gives him pride and true purpose of life as a man. So ladies, if you want a happy husband, step out and show him your affection in these ways. He will not only interpret your tenderness as being truly loved, but also as being honored and respected for who he is. Even if you may think he doesn't deserve it, the invitation of the Creator is just to love him. God has promised that he'll bless you for it. The Book of Heaven tells us to work hard with gladness all the time, as if you were serving the Lord, not man, and the Lord will reward you for whatever good you do. Putting into practice these Bible principles will melt the hardest of hearts. In some way, good will always come as a result. You have nothing to lose because the Creator has promised to bless us when we reach out to our spouses with this kind of unselfish, unconditional love. Look at this diagram. What it shows is if a man shows love to his wife, she responds in a respectful way. And when she responds in a respectful way, it motivates him to love her even more. I call this the energizing circle. It's a circle of love that we all need to get on. Divorce, in most all cases, is not the answer to marriage problems. Our Creator tells us that He hates divorce. The reason is that the greatest percentage of those who divorce end up jumping from the frying pan into the fire or into a worse situation. So often, those who divorce would give anything to turn back the clock and work harder at their first marriage. After remarrying, oftentimes they find themselves with the same problems they had in their first marriage, and sometimes even worse. Unfortunately, when children are involved, they are the ones that get hurt the most. The wisdom of our elders has so much to teach us if we'll just listen. I remember what my mother often said about being faithful in marriage during rough times. She said, "You need to hang in there. Do everything you can to make your marriage work, because not only is your happiness over the long run at stake, but also the happiness of your children and extended family. Marriage brings a lot of responsibility, but in the end, we receive 100 times the joy in life when we work to meet those responsibilities. It makes us better people." Now I'd like to introduce to you some dear friends of mine, Nina and Brian Kaladisby. Brian has been the chairman of his Siletz tribe located on the west coast of Washington State, just a few miles north of here. Their marriage, like all of ours, isn't perfect, but the Lord has blessed them in their efforts to make their marriage in many ways a happy one. I've asked them if they'd be willing to talk to us about it.
God is such an awesome person in our life. He has been part of our marriage for 30 years now. Nina and I just celebrated 30 years of marriage on March 18th. We got to share it at Ocean Shores on the coast of Washington with our 2 daughters, our son-in-law, and our brand new granddaughter. When we were first married, we were only 18 years old, and I remember two people telling us that it wasn't going to work out because we were too young. Before we found the Lord, we were in a cycle of drugs and alcohol. We would go out just about every weekend drinking and partying and fighting, drinking, partying, and fighting.
We were fighting a lot, and our marriage was falling apart.
That was the cycle that we were into until Nina was able to find the church in Lummi.
I prayed to God to help us find a church to go to, and I told Brian that either we were going to go to church or we were going to get a divorce. And so we decided we'd pray and find a church, and we found a Native American church that we loved very much. And we're still at that church today.
We accepted the Lord in that church in 1988, and still after baptism, there was still problems, but the problems were a little more manageable having the Lord as a big part of your life. Having God as a part of your relationship is so very important. People don't realize how important God is to a marriage.
Without God, we wouldn't have lasted. He's been a big part of our life and our walk together.
When you have God in your life, and when you pray together as a family, and when you worship together, and when you go to Sabbath together, it is such a blessing.
We raised our children in the church, and they love the Lord with all their heart.
Both of our daughters, they love the Lord. Neither of them do drugs and alcohol, which is a blessing.
Our oldest daughter is teaching her daughter about God now, and it's just a joy to see how God works in our lives.
We do not have a perfect marriage. I don't know if there is a perfect marriage out there. And we do have conflicts, and we do have times when we argue and fight, not knock down, drag out, but have heated discussions. And I thank God that we're to the point now where we turn to God at that time, whereas before we became Christians, it was not always like that. And if it wasn't for God, we probably would not have seen 30 years of marriage.
And now our problems are very manageable with God in our lives.
Wasn't that beautiful? With God as your partner, you can only win. So often we forget that the biggest reason so many marriages struggle and fall apart is because we're all just naturally selfish. Friends, we must learn that only when the great Spirit of God leads us can we unselfishly love one another. A truly successful and happy marriage takes God into partnership. The Book of Heaven says, "Be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ." Welcome to my real home. When God is with you, no one can be against you. It's like this rope. One strand, it's not strong. Two strands, it's stronger. But when you add the third, and it's woven together, no one can break it. It's like the Lord being with us. Two of us are stronger together, but with the Lord, no one can break us. In closing, if you're struggling with your marriage, I invite you to make it a thing of prayer. God has promised that He'll help you, and He will. Until next time, you, your spouse, with God's help, keep your home fires burning, and let only the good Spirit guide you.